Back in the 50s, families weren't burdened by worries such as climate change and energy security. Their greatest concerns were trivial issues such as the nuclear arms race and the Cold War. They knew their energy was coming from good old coal that had already put the great in Great Britain, with their children's future looking more promising than any generations before them. Now times have changed. A lot. It's just as likely to be Miriam as Jonathan returning from work, looking forward to fajitas and back-to-back brand new US comedy on E4. Unfortunately this time though, Jonathan has been unable to finish preparing the 20-minute meal during the 9 hours Miriam has been at work. This is because Jonathan has been distracted by climate change. And it seems offers of setting up a direct debit to some charity that gives fur coats to Amazonian pandas or something just won't cut it this time. Jonathan is worried about little Annie's future.
Don't worry, loads of scientists say there's nothing to worry about.
Hold on a second, Miriam. The vast consensus for decades has been that climate change is a real and man-made problem, with symptoms obvious right now that could seriously affect little Annie's future. Listen to this eminent professional from the University of Leeds.
Solar radiation is absorbed by the Earth's surface, then re-emitted by the Earth as heat energy, some of which is absorbed by the atmosphere. Increasing greenhouse gases mean more heat is absorbed and less heat escapes into space, leading to a net warming effect.
So what can we in the United Kingdom do about this? Well, Jonathan, there are a number of technologies you can be informed on, and so what if they come to your area? It's obvious to Shemaiah at the University of Leeds that significant power can be gained from the wind.
The UK is the windiest country in Europe, and as such we have a great potential here for wind power. Of course, wind power is also a variable resource, and so we do need additional planning to be able to incorporate it into the grid in order to maximise carbon savings. Looking to the long term, the use of smart grids, interconnection to Europe, and also improved storage technologies gives wind energy the best chance of becoming a cost-effective, reliable and low-carbon energy source of the future.
So the wind's useful, but what about the sunshine? I've heard it can make energy, but surely that's for more tropical climates than our own.
Every hour the sun beams onto Earth more than enough energy to supply global energy needs for an entire year. If we can achieve 4 metres squared of solar panels per person, we could save 6% in terms of carbon emissions. Under the government feed-in tariff system, which financially supports the uptake of solar technology, installations of solar PV have increased 100-fold.
So little Annie thinks that her house has a shiny roof, but Mr. and Mrs. Cumberbatch Benedict Jones know they're saving her future while saving money. But what about on a bigger scale, or when the weather can't provide the energy we need, or even help dry the washing for Jonathan? Well, we can use more traditional power stations like this one, with a little help from our organic friends. No, not hippies. It would be unethical to use them for combustion due to their low calorific value. Instead, we'll use biomass.
Biomass is a term used to describe the organic material found in plants, which has been created by the conversion of sunlight. It can be used for heating, electricity generation and transport fuels. Biomass is a desirable source of energy as it can be described as carbon neutral. The carbon absorbed from the atmosphere by the plants is the same carbon emitted when the biomass is burnt.
We can also amend current power plants.
Most of the UK's electricity and industrial energy is generated by burning fossil fuels. While moving towards a sustainable energy solution, we still have to deal with the carbon dioxide emissions from fossil power. Carbon capture and storage is the process of separating carbon dioxide from these power plants and then storing it permanently in deep saline formations or depleted oil and gas fields. Conveniently, the North Sea has a capacity of 100 years of storage, and so CCS provide at least 15% of the UK's emissions.
It's not just dirty old coal that can contribute, but also scary nuclear.
Nuclear power is energy generated from atoms according to Einstein's famous law E equals mc squared. Today's reactors rely on fission to create over 60 billion kilowatt hours of electricity a year in the UK. It currently contributes nearly 20% of the UK's energy mix, but most of these reactors are due to close. To meet demand, a new generation of nuclear plants will need to be built, with the first expected to be online by 2018. These will produce very low levels of carbon dioxide and are comparable with wind, solar and hydroelectricity.
So you see, little Annie, the United Kingdom can make a difference in the battle against climate change.
That's great. I don't want it to rain all the time.
It sure is, Annie, but the carbon savings don't stop there.
I like the sound of carbon savings. They remind me of coupons. Ben & Jerry's are my favourite coupons.
Mine too. Once we've done all that work decarbonising our grid, the savings keep coming, particularly with transport.
Transport accounts for up to a quarter of our total emissions, so there's an ambitious target of 100% zero-emission vehicles by 2050. Cars today are smelly, noisy and dangerous. See how easy this car explodes. Electric and hydrogen vehicles, similar to those produced today, will become zero emissions as the electric grid decarbonises. However, behaviour change will also be necessary in reducing our emissions by 80%. As well as decreasing transport demand, we will also need to significantly change the way we insulate our homes with increased electrification in home cooking and heating, as well as reducing our demand and increasing the efficiency of our appliances.
But how much is this all going to cost? I pay enough tax already. Isn't it better just to put up results of climate change?
Well, once again in the government's collective wisdom, an independent inquiry was commissioned into just that issue, the Stern Review.
It is the most widely known report on climate economics, which has the main outcome that the benefits of strong early action on climate change far outweigh the cost of not acting. Even with an increase in the estimate by Stern that 2% of the GDP per year needs to be spent to prevent the worst effects of climate change, this is still cheaper than the 5% of GDP it will cost if no action is taken.
So, Miriam, there's no reason, technical or economic, that we can't avoid devastating climate change, saving little Annies everywhere.